Jeremiah chapter 24. Adonai showed me all of a sudden there were 2 baskets of figs set before the temple of Adonai. It was after King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had taken away into exile Jeconiah, son of King Jehoiakim of Judah, and the princes of Judah, along with the craftsmen and smiths from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babylon. One basket had very good figs, like the figs that are first ripe, but the other basket had very bad figs, which could not be eaten. They were so bad. And then Adonai said to me, "What do you see, Jeremiah?" So I said, "Figs. The good figs are very good, but the bad figs are very bad and cannot be eaten. They are so bad." Then the word of Adonai came to me, saying, "Thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I regard the exiles of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place to the land of the Chaldeans as good. I will set my eyes on them as good. I will bring them back to this land, and I will build them up and not pull them down. I will plant them and not uproot them. Then I will give them a heart to know me, for I am Adonai, and they will be my people, and I will be their God, for they will return to me with their whole heart. Now, as for the bad figs, which cannot be eaten, they are so bad, surely. Thus says Adonai, so I will give up Zedekiah, the king of Judah, his princes, and the remnant of Jerusalem who remain in this land, as well as those dwelling in the land of Egypt. I will even give them as a horror, as an evil thing among all the kingdoms of the earth, as a disgrace and a proverb, a taunt and a curse, in all places where I will drive them. I will also send the sword, famine, and pestilence among them, until they be consumed from off the land that I gave to them and to their fathers. Chapter 25. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, which was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Jeremiah the prophet spoke it to all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, "From the 13th year of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah, until this day, these 23 years, the word of Adonai has come to me. So I have spoken to you, speaking early and often, but you have not listened. Moreover, Adonai has sent to you all his servants, the prophets, sending them early and often, but you have not listened or inclined your ear to hear, saying, Turn now, everyone from his evil way and from the evil of your deeds, and dwell in the land that Adonai has given to you and to your fathers forever and ever. Do not go after other gods to serve them, to worship them, and so do not provoke me with the work of your hands, so I would do you no harm. Yet you have not listened to me, declares Adonai, so you are provoking me with the work of your hand to your own heart. Therefore, thus says Adonai Tzavaot, since you have not heard my words, I will soon send for and bring all the families of the north. It is a declaration of Adonai, and I will send for King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against its inhabitants, and against all these nations round about, and I will utterly destroy them, and make them a horror, a hissing, and enduring desolation. Moreover, I will silence among them the voice of joy, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the lamp. So this whole land will be a desolate ruin, and these nations will serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. Then it will come to pass, when 70 years are completed, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, declares Adonai. The land of the Chaldeans, for their iniquity, I will make it ruins forever. I will bring on that land all my words which I pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book which Jeremiah has prophesied against all the nations. For many nations and great kings will have slaves of them also. So I will repay them according to their deeds and according to the work of their own hands. For thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, to me, take this cup of the wine of fury from my hand and make all the nations to whom I am sending you to drink it. They will drink and reel to and fro and be like madmen because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup from Adonai's hand and made all the nations drink to whom Adonai had sent me. Jerusalem and the cities of Judah with its kings and princes, to make them an appalling horror and hissing a curse as it is this day. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, with his servants, his princes and all his people, and all the mingled people, all the kings of the land of Uz, all the kings of the land of the Philistines, Ashkelon, Gaza, Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, Moab, and Ammon's children, all the kings of Tyre, all the kings of Sidon, and the kings of the coastland across the sea, Dedan, Tema, Buz, and all who have shaved the corners, all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mixed people dwelling in the wilderness, all the kings of Zimri, all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of Media, all the kings of the north, either far or close to another, and all the kingdoms of the world, which are the face of the earth, and the king of Sheshach will drink after them. And you will say to them, Thus says Adonai Tsavaot, the God of Israel, drink, be drunken, vomit, all fall down and rise no more, because of the sword that I will send among you. And if they refuse to take the cup at your hand to drink, then here is what you will say to them. Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, you will surely drink. See, I am beginning to bring evil on the city where my name is called. And should you go completely unpunished, you will not go unpunished, for I am summoning a sword against all the inhabitants of the earth. It is a declaration of Adonai Tsabaoth. Therefore you are to prophesy against them all these words, and say to them, Adonai is roaring from on high, giving voice from his holy dwelling. His roars mightily over his sheepfold. He shouts like those who tread grapes against all who dwell on the earth. A noise has come to the end of the earth, for Adonai has a dispute with the nations. He is passing judgment on all flesh. As for the wicked, he has given them over to the sword. It is a declaration of Adonai. Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, evil will soon go forth from nation to nation. A great storm is being stirred up from the uttermost parts of the earth. Those slain by Adonai on that day will be from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. They will not be lamented, gathered, or buried. They will be dung on the surface of the ground. Wail, you shepherds, and cry. Wallow in the dust, you leaders of the flock, for the days of your slaughter and your dispersions are full. You will fall like a precious vase, for the shepherds will have no way to flee, nor the leaders of the flock to escape. Hark, the outcry of the shepherds, the wailing of the leaders of the flock. For Adonai is ravaging their pasture. The peace of the pasture is stifled. Because of the fierce anger of Adonai, he has left his lair like a lion, for their land has become a waste. Because of the fury of the oppressor, and because of his fierce anger. Chapter 26. In the beginning of the region of Joachim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came from Adonai, saying, Thus says Adonai, stand in the court of Adonai's house, and speak to all the cities of Judah that come to worship in Adonai's house, all the words that I command you to speak to them. Do not omit a word. Perhaps they will listen and turn every man from his evil way, so I may relent of the calamity which I am planning to do to them because of the evil of their deeds. Then you will say to them, Thus says Adonai, if you will not listen to me by walking in my Torah, which I have set before you, and by listening to the words of my servants and the prophets, whom I have been sending to you early and often, but you have not listened, then I will make this house like Shiloh, and will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. So the Kohanim, the prophets, and all the people heard Jeremiah speaking these words in the house of Adonai. Now when Jeremiah finished speaking all that Adonai had commanded him to speak to all the people, the Kohanim and the prophets and all the people laid hold on him, saying, Surely you will die. Why have you prophesied in the name of Adonai, saying, This house will be like Shiloh, and this house will be like an uninhabited ruin? Then all the people gathered against Jeremiah in the house of Adonai. When the princes of Judah heard these things, they came up from the king's palace to the house of Adonai, and sat in the entrance of the new gate of Adonai's house. The Kohanim and the prophets spoke to the princes and to all the people, saying, A death sentence for this man, for he has prophesied against this city, as you have heard with your ears. When Jeremiah spoke to all the princes and to all the people, saying, Adonai sent me to prophesy all the words you have heard against this house and against this city. So now mend your ways and your deeds, and obey the voice of Adonai your God. So Adonai will relent of the calamity that he has pronounced against you. But as for me, here I am in your hand. Do with me as is good and right in your eyes. Only know for certain that if you put me to death, you will bring innocent blood on yourselves, on this city, and on its inhabitants. For in truth, Adonai has sent me to you to speak all these words in your ears. Then said the princes and all the people to the Kohanim and to the prophets, No death sentence for this man, for he has spoken to us in the name of Adonai our God. Then some of the elders of the land rose up and addressed all the assembly of the people, saying, Micah the Morashtite prophesied in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and he spoke to all the people of Judah, saying, Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, Zion will be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem will become ruins, and the mountains of the house as the high places of a forest. Did King Hezekiah and Judah and all Judah put him to death? Didn't he fear Adonai and plead for the favor of Adonai, and then Adonai relented of the calamity that he had pronounced against them? So we may be committing great evil against our own souls. Now there was a man who had prophesied in the name of Adonai, Uriah son of Shemaiah of Kiriath Jearim. He prophesied against the city and against this land words like all those of Jeremiah. When King Joachim with all his mighty men and all the princes heard his words, the king sought to put him to death. But when Uriah heard it, he was afraid and fled and went to Egypt. So King Joachim sent men to Egypt, Elnathan son of Achbor and some others with him, and they brought Uriah back from Egypt and led him to King Joachim, who slew him with the sword and threw his corpse into the burial place of the common people. Nevertheless, the hand of Ahikam son of Shaphan was with Jeremiah, so that they did not give him into the hand of the people to put him to death. Chapter 27. In the beginning of the reign of Joachim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word to Jeremiah from Adonai, saying, Thus says Adonai to me, Make straps and yoke bars and put them on your neck. Then send such to the king of Edom, to the king of Moab, to the king of Ammon's children, to the king of Tyre, and the king of Zidon, by the hand of messengers that come to Jerusalem, to King Zedekiah of Judah. Charge them to their masters, saying, Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, Thus will you say to your masters, I have made the earth mankind and beasts which are on the face of the earth. By great power and by my outstretched arm, and I give it to whom it seems right to me. So now I have given all these lands into the hand of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. My servant I have even given the beasts of the field to serve him. All the nations will serve him, and his sons and his grandsons, until the time of his own land comes. And then many nations and great kings will make him their slave. Now it will be that the nation or the kingdom which will not serve the same king Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, and will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation I will punish with the sword, with famine, and with pestilence, declares Adonai, until I have destroyed it by his hand. But as for you, do not listen to your prophets, your diviners, your dreamers, your soothsayers, or your sorcerers, who speak to you, saying, You will not serve the king of Babylon, but they prophesy a lie to you, in order to remove you far from your land, so that I would drive you out and you would perish. But the nation that will bring their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him, that nation I will let remain in its land, and they will till it and dwell in it. It is a declaration of Adonai. Then I spoke to King Zedekiah of Judah with all these same words, saying, Put your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, serve him and his people, and live. Why should you die, you and your people, by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence, as Adonai has spoken against a nation that will not serve the king of Babylon? Do not listen to the words of the prophets who speak to you, saying, You will not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie to you. For I have not sent them, says Adonai, and they prophesy falsely in my name, with the result that I will drive you out, and that you will perish, you and the prophets that prophesy to you. Then I spoke to the Kohanim and to all this people, saying, Thus says Adonai, do not listen to the words of your prophets who prophesy to you, saying, See, the vessels of Adonai's house will now shortly be brought back from Babylon, for they prophesy a lie to you. Do not listen to them. Serve the king of Babylon and live. Why should this city become a ruin? But if they are prophets, and if the word of Adonai is with them, let them now make an intercession to Adonai Tsabaoth, that the vessel that are left in the house of Adonai in the place of the king of Judah and in Jerusalem would not go to Babylon. For thus says Adonai Tsabaoth concerning the pillars, the sea, the bases, and the rest of the vessels that remain in the city, which King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has not taken, when he carried away captives Jeconiah, son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, from Jerusalem to Babylon, along with all the nobles of Judah and Jerusalem. Yes, thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, concerning the vessels that remain in the house of Adonai, in the house of the king of Judah and at Jerusalem. They will be brought to Babylon, and there will they be until the day that I take note of them. It is a declaration of Adonai, and bring them up and restore them to this place. Chapter 28. Now it was the same year, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 4th year, in the 5th month, that Hananiah, son of Azur, the prophet from Gibeon, spoke to me in the house of Adonai, in the presence of the Kohanim and of all the people, saying, Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, saying, I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 full years I will bring back to this place all the vessels of Adonai's house that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took away from this place and brought to Babylon. I will also bring Jeconiah, son of Joachim, king of Judah, back to this place with all the captives of Judah that went to Babylon. It is a declaration of Adonai, for I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. Then the prophet Jeremiah spoke to the prophet Hananiah in the presence of the Kohanim and in the presence of all the people that stood in Adonai's house. So the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. May Adonai do so. May Adonai fulfill your words that you have prophesied, bringing back the vessels of Adonai's house and all those who are taken away captive from Babylon to this place. Yet hear now that this word that I am speaking in your ears and in the ears of all the people, the prophets who have been before me and before you of ancient times, prophesied against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, catastrophe, and plague. The prophet who prophesies shalom, when the word of a prophet has come to pass, then will the prophet be known as one that Adonai has truly sent. Then Hananiah the prophet took the yoke bar from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck and broke it. Hananiah proclaimed in the presence of all the people, saying, Thus says Adonai, just so I will break the yoke of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon from off the neck of all the nations within 2 full years. So the prophet Jeremiah went his way. Then the word of Adonai came to Jeremiah after that Hananiah the prophet had broken the yoke bar from off the neck of the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Go, tell Hananiah, saying, Thus says Adonai, you have broken the yoke bar of wood, but in its place you will make yoke bars of iron. For thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron on the neck of all these nations, so that they may serve King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. They will serve him, and I have also given him the beast of the field. Then said the prophet Jeremiah to the prophet of Hananiah, Hear now, Hananiah, Adonai has not sent you, yet you have caused this people to trust in a lie. Therefore thus says Adonai, I am about to send you away from off the face of the earth. This year you will die, since you have spoken apostasy against Adonai. So Hananiah the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. Chapter 29. Now these are the words of the letter that the prophet Jeremiah sent from Jerusalem to the elders remaining in exile, as well as to the Kohanim, the prophets, and to all the people Nebuchadnezzar had carried off the captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After Jeconiah the king, the queen mother, the officers, the prince of Judah and Jerusalem, and the craftsmen and the smiths had to leave Jerusalem. The letter was sent by the hand of Elasah, son of Shaphan, and Gemariah, son of Hilkiah, whom King Zedekiah, son of Zedekiah of Judah, sent to Babylon, to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saying, Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, to all those in captivity, whom I removed as captives into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and live in them. Also plant gardens and eat their fruit. Take wives and have sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands, so that they may bear sons and daughters and multiply there and do not decrease. Also seek the shalom of the city where I took you as captives in exile, and pray to Adonai for it. For in its shalom will you have shalom. For thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, do not let your prophets who are among you or your diviners beguile you, and pay no attention to the dreams which you make them keep dreaming. For they prophesy falsely to you in my name. I have not sent them. It is a declaration of Adonai. For thus says Adonai, after 70 years for Babylon are complete, I will visit you and fulfill my good word toward you to bring you back to this place. For I know the plans that I have in mind for you, declares Adonai, plans for shalom and not calamity, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me, when you will search for me with all your heart. Then I will be found by you, says Adonai, and I will return you from exile and gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, says Adonai, and I will bring you back to the place from which I removed you as captives into exile. For you have said, Adonai has raised up prophets for us in Babylon. For thus says Adonai about the king who sits on the throne of David, and about all the people who dwell in this city, your kinsmen who did not go with you into captivity. Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, I am about to send on them the sword, famine, and pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so bad, I will pursue them with the sword, famine, and pestilence, and I will make them a horror to all the kingdoms of the earth, a curse and an astonishment, a hissing and a disgrace among all the nations where I have driven them, because they have not listened to my words, declares Adonai, which I sent to them by my servants the prophets, sending them early and often, but you would not hear. It is a declaration of Adonai. But you hear the word of Adonai, all you of the exile, whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, concerning Ahab, son of Kolaiah, and concerning Zedekiah, son of Manasseh, who prophesy a lie to you in my name. I will soon deliver them into the hand of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, and he will slay them before your eyes. So a curse will be taken up by everyone in exile from Judah who are in Babylon, saying, May Adonai make you like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have been disgraceful in Israel, committing adultery with their neighbors' wives and speaking words in my name falsely, which I did not command them. But I am the one who knows, and I am witness. It is a declaration of Adonai. Now concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, you will surely say, Thus declares Adonai Tsabaoth, the God of Israel, saying, Because you have sent letters in your own name to all the people who are at Jerusalem, to Zephaniah son of Maaseiah the Kohen, and to all the Kohanim, saying, Adonai has made you Kohen instead of Jehoiada the Kohen, so that there should be officers in the house of Adonai for every madman prophesying this, and so that you will put him in the stocks and iron collar. So now why haven't you rebuked Jeremiah of Anathoth, who makes himself out to be a prophet to you? For he has sent word to us in Babylon, saying, The exile will be long. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat their fruit. So Zephaniah the Kohen read this letter in the ears of the prophet Jeremiah. Then the word of Adonai came to Jeremiah, saying, Send word to all of the captivity, saying, Thus says Adonai concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, because Shemaiah has prophesied to you, though I did not send him, and he has caused you to trust in a lie. Therefore, thus says Adonai, I will indeed punish Shemaiah and Nehelamite and his offspring. There will be none living among this people, and he will not see the good that I will do to my people, declares Adonai, because he has spoken rebellion against Adonai.